Robert spent 28 years as a public school teacher in Ohio. He paid into his state pension every single paycheck. He did everything right. He saved, he planned, and when he retired, he thought he knew exactly how much money he was going to get every month. Then he saw what Social Security was actually going to pay him. Not the number he expected. A number that had been quietly cut, reduced by a formula buried inside a federal law that most Americans had never heard of. A formula that basically said, because you worked a government job with its own pension, we are taking money out of your Social Security check. Every month. Without warning, without explanation. Robert had also worked summers, part-time jobs, side jobs, where Social Security taxes came out of every paycheck he ever received. He paid in for years. He earned those benefits. And the government had been quietly cutting them for decades anyway.
For Robert, that cut was around $400 a month, every single month, for years. But here is what Robert did not know, what nobody told him when he retired, what nobody explained when he signed up, is that Congress passed a law in January 2025 that said what was happening to Robert was wrong, that the formula was unfair, that it needed to stop. That law gave Robert his full benefit back. It sent him one large catch-up payment to cover the money he had been shorted, and it permanently raised his monthly check going forward. But here is the part that every retired teacher, police officer, and firefighter needs to stop and hear right now. Not everyone affected by this law has received their money yet. Some people still do not know the law exists, and some people, specifically surviving spouses, never applied for benefits at all because they were told the old rules meant they would get nothing. Under the new law, that is no longer true, but they have to apply.
My name is Mark. Today, I am going to walk you through exactly what this law does, who it applies to, what the money looks like in real numbers, and precisely what to do right now to claim what you are owed. Stay with me all the way through. The section on surviving spouses is the one almost nobody is talking about, and it may be the most important part of this entire video. If you are not subscribed yet, hit that button and turn on the bell right now. Laws like this one change the rules on Social Security, and the government does not send personal letters explaining what changed or what it means for you. That is what this channel does. Now let's get into it. For decades, two rules hidden inside Social Security law quietly punished certain public workers. Most people never knew either one existed.
The first was called the Windfall Elimination provision. Think of it as a penalty. It targeted workers who had spent part of their career in a job that did not pay into Social Security, like many state and local government jobs, but who had also worked other jobs where Social Security taxes did come out of their paychecks. Instead of calculating their benefit the normal way, Social Security used a different formula, one that cut their monthly payment by a significant amount. The second was called the government pension offset. This one went after spouses and surviving spouses. If you received a government pension from a job that did not pay into Social Security, this rule cut your spousal or survivor benefit by 2/3 of your pension amount. For many people, that did not mean a smaller check. It meant no check at all. Zero. Completely wiped out. Who did these rules hurt the most? Teachers. In many states, teachers do not pay in to Social Security. They have their own pension system. But if a teacher also worked a second job, waitressing, tutoring, anything, Social Security taxes came out of that income, and then the windfall rule cut what they received on that second income anyway. Police officers and firefighters, same situation, a public pension, no Social Security taken from their main job, but years of other work where they did pay in, and the government cut it regardless. Federal workers under the old civil service retirement system, postal workers, school administrators, public workers across dozens of job types in dozens of states, and their spouses, their surviving spouses, who in many cases received zero in Social Security survivor benefits,
even after losing a husband or wife who had worked and paid into the system for years. The Social Security Fairness Act, signed into law on January 5th, 2025, got rid of both of these rules permanently, starting from January 2024. Gone.
Now, let me put real numbers to this, because this is not a small change. For workers affected by the Windfall rule, the average monthly cut that had been taken from their benefit was around $350 a month. That is now given back. $350 more every single month, permanently, for the rest of their lives. Some people were losing far more than that. Depending on your pension and work history, the cut could reach as high as $587 a month. All of it is now restored. On top of the monthly increase, the law went back to January 2024. That means Social Security owed every affected person a catch-up payment, one large payment covering every month they were shorted going back to that date. The average catch-up payment came out to around $6,710. Over 3.1 million of those payments, totaling $17 billion, were sent out by July 2025. But here is the number I need you to hold on to, because this is the one almost nobody is talking about. If you are a surviving spouse whose benefit was completely wiped out by the government pension offset rule, and you never applied for Social Security because you were told you would not receive anything, your situation has changed entirely. The rule that erased your benefit no longer exists.
For you, this is not a slightly bigger check. This is a check that did not exist before. Surviving spouses who now qualify for the first time could be receiving $800, $1,200, $1,600 or more every single month. Money they have never seen because the old law told them they did not qualify. That law is gone, and if you have not applied, the money is not coming to you automatically. Here is where things actually stand right now in 2026. Most people who were already receiving Social Security and had their benefits cut have already received their updates and their catch-up payment. The Social Security Administration processed most of those cases by mid-2025, faster than most expected. But there are still three groups of people who have not been taken care of. Group 1, people who never applied for Social Security at all because of the government pension offset. If you were a surviving spouse who was told that rule would wipe out your benefit completely, you may have never even filed an application. Why apply for something you were told you would not receive? That made sense under the old law. Under the new law, the rule is gone. But Social Security cannot send you money on a benefit you never applied for. You have to apply. And the date you apply matters. There are limits on how far back they can pay you as a new applicant. Every month you wait is money you may not get back.
Group 2. People whose cases were flagged as complicated. The Social Security Administration processed millions of cases automatically, but some situations needed to be reviewed by a real person. Mixed work histories, unusual pension arrangements, cases involving multiple types of benefits. If your case fell into that category, it may still be working through the system. Log into your My Social Security account at ssa.gov and check what your current benefit amount shows. If it has not been updated, or if you have not received a letter from Social Security explaining the change, call them. Group 3. People who received only 6 months of catch-up pay instead of 12. The law was written to pay people back to January 2024, a full year. But some applicants were told by Social Security offices that their catch-up pay was limited to only 6 months. Senators from both parties have formally challenged this and called on Social Security to honor the full 12 months the law intended. If you applied after the law passed and only received 6 months of back pay, this dispute affects you directly. Stay informed and contact your representatives in Congress if needed. Here is exactly what to do right now depending on your situation. If you were already receiving Social Security and were affected by either of these rules, log into ssa.gov and check your My Social Security account. Confirm that your monthly benefit has been updated and that you received a catch-up payment. If your benefit has not changed, or if you received no letter explaining the update, call Social Security at 1-800-772-1213.
When the recorded system asks how it can help you, say the words Fairness Act. You will be connected to a representative trained specifically to handle these cases.
If you worked in a public sector job with a pension and never applied for Social Security because of the government pension offset, call that same number right now, 1-800-772-1213. Tell them you are a surviving spouse or a former public worker who did not apply because of the government pension offset. Ask them to take your application under the Fairness Act. Bring proof of your marriage if you are a surviving spouse, past tax returns you filed together, your marriage certificate, whatever documentation you have. Do not wait. The date you apply determines how far back they can pay you. If you are not sure whether any of this applies to you, ask yourself these questions. Did you ever work in a job where Social Security taxes did not come out of your paycheck, like teaching in certain states, local government work, or federal work under the old civil service system? Do you also have work history from other jobs where Social Security taxes did come out? Did a spouse you were married to work in a job with a pension that did not include Social Security? If the answer to any of those is yes, call Social Security and ask specifically about the Fairness Act and whether your record has been updated. Robert spent 28 years in a classroom. He paid into the system every way the law allowed him to. For years, a rule most Americans had never heard of quietly took money out of his check every single month. Congress finally said that was wrong, passed a law to fix it, and Robert got his money back. If that sounds like your story or like someone you know, do not wait another month to find out where things stand. The number is 1-800-772-1213. Say Fairness Act when the system asks. That is all it takes to start. Share this video with every retired teacher, police officer, firefighter, or government worker you know. This is exactly the kind of information that can permanently change how much money someone receives every month for the rest of their life, and the government is not going to call them about it. Subscribe, turn on the bell, and I will see you in the next one.